Hey YouTube, guess what? I've decided to torture myself, and my method of torture is watching all of the Fredericton's Finest again and providing my wonderful commentary. So if any of you out there are super bored, sit back and watch me babble on about bullshit. And, if you guys are any of you are in these videos, I apologize in advance if I roast you. I'll try not to, but you never know. Okay, here we go. So, this is the infamous garage scene that I know you all love. This is clearly the first scene in the movie. It was meant to be the first scene filmed. It wasn't. We actually filmed this like a day before the end fight scene because, there's a certain someone who's supposed to be in it. They kept delaying it, but anyway, so we ended up with this. This is supposed to be the big hero reveal. The garage door opening. Fun fact, I'm actually wearing flip-flops in this scene. Can't really tell. And this music is actually from The Matrix Reloaded. I always thought that would be funny, Duncan taking out big old Barrett. And see, I'm running out and the garage door actually stops here. It's motion sensitive, but got it to keep going. And yes, we know police officers are not allowed to shoot people when they run away like that. That actually had to be dubbed over because Alex Richard was out of sync with the camera. He pressed record at the right time, but he kept recording all of us standing around. Then when it came to shoot the scene, he pressed record and it would stop recording. And this is just our little title sequence. The music playing here is actually the song that plays at the beginning of Pulp Fiction. Can't remember what it's called, but it's not the Hawaii Five-O theme song that seems like a lot of people think it is. This is actually the first scene we filmed, and it was months before anything else. And we really didn't know what we were doing at this point. I don't even think we had a name for this video yet. We actually did not have a shooting script for this video. We improv'd everything. A lot of it revolved around me just telling people what to say before the scene started. And you probably tell by, how terrible everything is. Yeah. The grenade was 100% Duncan's idea. He he really wanted to actually have it in a car chase, but uh, we decided we didn't really have the budget for a car chase in the first one. We did end up obviously adding a car chase in a later installment. This entire video was edited by me pretty much the night before it was due, which was the same night we filmed the end fight, and most of the video actually ended up being filmed in this one weekend. So with all that being taken into consideration, I think it actually turned out okay. And it's definitely my favorite of the series. It was just like a fun movie to do for media studies. I think my biggest regret of this whole series is the fact that, we didn't really find a super creative idea or anything. We just did what was easy, and that was a buddy cop comedy. And it ended up being a series for no reason other than, I don't know, we had free time and people seemed to enjoy them. And there we go. That little sound transition is actually the beginning of the Killer song. And here is our introduction to Max Hughes as the chief. And you see he's wearing a hat there. I'm not sure if many people noticed, but he's actually wearing a different hat in every scene that he's in all the installments, except for that one time he's on the phone. And yes, I'm aware we actually shut the blinds in between filming our shots and filming
these shots right here. So the lighting's completely different when the camera's on Duncan and I versus when it's on Max. And, it's pretty jarring watching it over. I don't know why we did that. Uh, yeah, I have no way to justify that. He actually has a different mug in each scene too, but and I have my coat zipped up there because I didn't want people to notice I was wearing a different shirt due to continuity errors. But if you notice, as the video goes on, I care less and less, and I'm just wearing a different shirt in every scene. Same leather jacket though, and actually those are the same jeans in every single of these videos. They were pretty ripped up by the end though. I think I actually burned them. So no, that guys, there's not gonna be any more, and I don't have the jeans. I do have the jacket though. And yes, this scene had to be done because we forgot to film. It's supposed to be me talking to Duncan, so I added in the schizophrenia thing, so it would make some semblance of sense. And here's our intro to the mayor, played by the great Alex Richard. I think he actually may be the best actor in any of these, which is, I don't know, kind of funny. Because he plays such a small part, and I don't think he's done any other acting. And again, that's really not a high bar at all. Oh yeah, I forgot to poke fun at the fact that I kept looking at the camera during the car scene, because in this scene, Duncan keeps looking at the camera. And I think there's like a dehumidifier that plays in the background here that you can hear, and kind of messes things up, but whatever. Let's say fair. This is in my basement, actually, and those are all my dad's mugs, and he has actually a lot more. And yes, I say 99, or sorry, I say Israel sign twice. Or no, I say something twice. I don't know. Something about a Silk Oak mini mug. I always like that. The idea of him saying it like that and zooming in. This scene always got more laughs than, you know, other parts of the movie. Duncan doesn't really have much to do in this scene besides look at the mugs. Purposely on such a modest salary. I think McLeod's supposed to be dumb, so I don't know why I use big words like that. Characters weren't really very well developed. I'm not sure why I keep saying his full name, but I'm gonna just drive the point home, get people to remember these characters. Yes, that is a reference to our previous media studies project, Softies. I think the idea was to make them all take place in the same universe, kind of like the MCU. Not sure that worked out as well. And I actually loved this when he's saying all this bullshit, and I kept laughing, so we had to do this take like 5 or 6 times just because I thought it was so funny. Alex Richard's good at, playing it straight. And that's standard transition music. And yep, see, now he's wearing some kind of sheriff hat. See, my coat zipped up again. As if McLeod would ever zip up his coat, right? And I don't know about that online sources line. I don't know what Duncan was thinking when he said that. Again, we had no script here. We were just going off the cuff. And I'm slightly impressed this video almost has 1,000 views. It is the media studies project, which made people in the hallway tell me, wow, it wasn't awful. Um, that was a nice compliment. I think a few people told me they liked the holiday special. I'm not sure, I don't think I've ever been told the last one was good by anyone who wasn't in it. Look at this, I'm wearing a zombies shirt. That was my style in grade 12. And yes, I know the wind's very strong here. We did not have a boom mic or even a camera operator here. We just found a police car in the parking lot and filmed in front of it. Sounds like an atomic bomb goes off. And the camera actually kept falling over from the wind, so we couldn't even finish the scene. Well, I think we did finish the scene, but we didn't even notice that the camera fallen over, so I had to add this text in, which I think worked okay for comic effect. I don't know why I added us walking away. And here's the big interrogation scene. This is actually supposed to take place with somebody else, but that actor also didn't come through in the end, so we had to do it with Dirtbag. Max doesn't like how I do the boss nass thing. You know, the big fat guy from the Phantom Menace here. I like do that bullshit. I always thought it was kind of funny. Like, you don't need to get that. I'm referencing boss nass. I'm just supposed to look like an idiot. And I actually did this all by myself. I just edited to make it look like someone turned the lights on. And I was looking through mugs. And yeah, Max is wearing a farmer's hat. This actually made our media studies teacher laugh when he saw him wearing that. We kind of messed up this scene. I think I was thinking we were going to switch perspectives, then we didn't, and I just took off the jacket and threw it at him. Oh my gosh, I haven't mentioned Duckworth yet, the great companion to the chief. There's really not much I can say about it. That was pretty funny. And yeah, what Duncan says here is it's not he mentions how the N64 is not plugged in. And I always found he pronounces precinct kind of weird here. It says like precinct. I imagine it's like Press Inc. Like it's like some company, Press Incorporated. This is the fun thing about improvising. When I say you did that for me, I was hoping we were gonna have an emotional moment, but you know he kind of took the scene in a different direction, which ended up being kind of funny. And yeah, we just had McDonald's before we shot these scenes, so we just used that cup. You can actually hear my parents moving around knives and stuff upstairs. Old school. I think the first take for that was we didn't even high five correctly. And Duncan says they're running their operations out of Up Park Street School here, but it is a school called Park Street School. And we were actually already there in that last shot. And I think if anyone, like when I was younger, I used to watch Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and I'd start at the scene where Mace Windu walks in to the Emperor, and I was just saying if anyone was going to do that with this video, I assume they would start here, because this is one that actually is reasonably good. And yes, I know, it's not supposed to be out of sync like that, but I think it worked for a comic effect. Look at that shot. We tried really hard to film at sunset, so we could get the walking away shot during sunset, but it didn't work. And yes, we have to acknowledge how Alec Gregg jumped over the jungle gym and Chris Pickard could barely get down the ladder. And this is our big action sequence, which, yeah, is amazing. And I do not have the camera there, sorry. I think this is one of the first things we thought of, was to have a fight scene where we like alternate like this. And yes, I left Boom in for no reason. This always provoked a lot of laughter from the audience. No comment. I think I actually kicked Chris Pickard there. I actually like how this shot turned out. And the idea is that I lost my gun when they took away my jacket, but we didn't bring the guns to school, so you can't really see it. so I had to grab his gun. And so I've run over to his jacket, grabbed the gun, but, I'm not even lying down in this next shot. I think we forgot I was. And this actually is not my hand, that's Max's pale hand. He was just holding the camera, so he wanted to do the shot, so I said go for it. And yes, that is the Django theme. But I was imagining the 60s Django movie and not Django Unchained, if that makes it any more, I don't know, less of a ripoff. And this tape was actually already there. Not sure what it was for, but that's why we're filming this at this pool here and not actually anywhere close to where the action happened. And this last shot turned out pretty well, other than the fact that it's not actually a sunset. Huh. And this is The Power of Love, a jazz cover of it by the Hollywood Hits Orchestra. How we found it actually was we were picking up Alex Richard to go shooting, and there's a yard sale by his house, and there's two of them. One of them was really shitty and charged way too much for a rock band, and the other one had this cool ass CD that we got, and we listened to it in the car, and we were like, you know what, that's what we need, a jazz cover of The Power of Love as our theme song. And yeah, we filmed some of these at the end there at Park Street School, but the camera and the battery in the camera actually died, so we couldn't film everyone's little outro here. So I just reused the grenade thing here. And then for Dirtbag, we just had him standing there. And yeah, this was the end of Fredericton's finest. It's not a bad memory looking back. Reminds me of the end of high school. It's more fun than prom. Probably equally as fun as safe grad. And on to the next one, the Fredericton's Finest Holiday Special. First one, I actually did not want to do a sequel at all. And a few other people wanted to do one the summer after, grade 12, which was right after we did the first one. Then people want to do it again the summer after that, and I just really wasn't interested. And then Max messaged me and Duncan actually in like November of I guess 2014, saying that he wanted to do a Fredericton's Finest Christmas special, and I think the idea was to make it like 5 minutes long or something. Anyway, that actually piqued my interest, and this happened. I think this one actually turned out the best in a lot of ways. We actually had a script for shooting. It was, short, it was concise, well paced, relatively speaking, and overall, I think it turned out okay. And I do like the idea that, we start with these fucks, and then we move on to Neil, then we don't get to Duncan and I till much later in the video, so it's almost like we're characters in somebody else's story. And yes, that is the same person over there. Mitchell's playing the twins. Their names are supposed to be Barrett and Garrett, but they never made it in there. And yes, Neil is not supposed to be smiling when he yells Lucky. He should be mad because he got his present stolen. And here's our big reveal. My jacket had ripped since the last time, so we had him taping it there. And here we are arguing whether or not the kid from A Christmas Story could beat the kid from Home Alone. And we filmed this whole video in like 5 days, I think. It was in between the end of my exams and Christmas Eve. So we actually are all wearing the same clothes for the whole duration. So continuity is way better. Nobody's getting haircuts in between shots and scenes. So, and yeah, we have Ryan Craig talking into a tube. It's Lackey, get over here. Oh shit, that's the first time anybody swore. And yes, Neil is holding bag and strips of dog's treats if you guys don't notice. And if you guys aren't aware, my shirt is indeed Abraham Lincoln taking a selfie. And yes, this is a reference to Neil the movie because we tried to create a cinematic universe. I do like the idea of him calling it a rogue Santa. We try to have a running joke that Denton really hates Lackey, but I think a lot of it ended up just being us all being assholes to each other. A lot of the humor in these later movies, it's written by me, so it's a lot of just harsh shit. Kind of just us making fun of each other. Oh, I forgot to mention, when Neil clears his throat there, when we first did the shot, he actually didn't know how, yeah. He did not know how to clear his throat. He sounded like he was barking like a dog, so that took a while. And yeah, I'm playing Tetris Battle here. I do really like Tetris Battle, and I'm glad we got to work it in. And yeah, I have a foul mouth here. This may have been a mistake to swear so much in these later installments, but you know, we're all foul-mouthed people. I always like the idea of me spying on Santa. And yes, he's supposed to be taking evidence. We don't really have like Q-tips or something to do there. But the joke is I've been eating the cookies. And look, it's Santa's hanging out with Barney, and I'm looking at it. I don't know. I think a lot of these montage scenes are better on paper. I think a lot of people enjoyed this scene where I'm trying to train by watching A Christmas Story, fighting the Christmas tree. And yeah, this makes no sense. I guess the idea is that we're tracking him and going, marking all the houses, and you know, somehow it leads to a certain point. And the joke of me mixing like eggnog with water, I actually mixed eggnog with apple juice when I was a kid, and it was disgusting. Here is Chris Pickard as Santa. Oh, sorry, spoiler alert. I always really liked this. This specifically, them talking like this didn't turn out as well, because in the script I just said, I like the idea of them brainstorming stuff McLeod would have said, but this, I think in the script it literally just said Barrett and Garrett or Mitchell brainstorms action movie lines, and that's what we ended up with. This is actually probably my favorite joke in any of them, the hashtag Ferguson, because I'm actually a huge fan of super offensive humor. But again, that didn't, most of the humor in these videos isn't super offensive because it just didn't fit. But that is my favorite brand of humor. So this is actually the Godzilla theme playing. If anybody was curious, there's a lot of weird music that made it into these. This is backup short stuff, then also backup jacket. I think I wanted to say like move over jacket or something. I don't know. I liked how the sunset here looked. Oh, and shout out to Max. He's the one behind the camera operating everything in both this and the last one. I was present for everything that was filmed, but he both shot it and edited it. And here we go, the surf in USA. I always thought that this should have taken a bit longer for us to go down, but the effect is still the same. We crash, and he finds us. Another shout out to Max. The Let It Snow is his idea, or was his idea, I should say. This is one of the few honest to God improvised scenes in the video, and I think it turned out pretty well. I'm surprised. I keep saying things turned out well, even though I hate these fucking. No, I'm joking. They're okay. I don't think I liked any of them as much as I thought I would. My favorite stage of each of them was just kind of planning it. Hmm. We thought it would be so funny for him to wear a Hawaiian shirt, still wear the hat and the beard. See, get it? He has all the Christmas presents. Can't even remember whose idea it was to, you know, take the lights, unplug the lights, and have him try to check them. That's pretty funny though. And this is my suggestion to put the Trooper by Iron Maiden here as the music, just because I couldn't think of anything else. And yes, I'm wearing dress shoes for no other reason that it is a Christmas special. I didn't really want him to say Wasikta, but that's just a word I say, so I was like, shoot the gun in the air and say Wasikta, and he did. And shit. This is one of the first ideas, take opening presents and having ninja stuff. No, those aren't actually Ninja Turtle brand weapons. They're just from the dollar store. They said ninja in green letters. Another great fight scene, am I right? This is supposed to be slow motion, but I'm just kind of hitting him slowly and his eyes are shifting at normal speed. This scene took a long time to film because, I kept laughing. I tend to do that. This is straight out of the script. This is my great comedic writing right here. So, if you don't find this funny, then you probably don't like me. This specifically was hard because I kept laughing, doing that stupid voice and stuff. Huh, get it? Fingers. That was Alec Gregg in the first one. We all love fingers, but nobody cares about Bo. I always thought this was a nice ending. Well, the first one reminded me of the end of high school. Reminds me of the end of high school. This one reminds me of obviously Christmas because we finished it literally a few days before Christmas. And I'm not sure what the last one reminds me of. Just pain and death. Huh. See, we don't have any cool camera movements here because, he isn't behind the camera. And yes, my dad does walk in the back there, and he hears Max being, a troll. And if you look closely, or not closely at all, Neil was playing with dinosaurs there. And yeah, for the hat in this scene, we just put Duckworth on his head. Huh, see. Actually, wait. He didn't have a hat in that last scene. But the joke is because that didn't actually happen. And yes, Neil does in fact say, "You're more pathetic than me," in this shot. The scene, whatever the hell it's called. And yeah, there we go. The idea here is to show what everyone's doing on their Christmas. Yeah, you see what I'm doing. And the idea was for this to play after Duncan's, which would be him. The idea was him putting his kid to bed because he actually does have a child. But it didn't work out, so we just had him putting his walkie talkie and shit down there. Then we have Chris Pickard in TG's basement. Shout out to TG because we filmed some of this video in his house, and he is probably the only person who's actually a fan of these things that hasn't been in any of them. So I know TG's still watching at this point, so what's up. And yep, he's putting Duckworth to bed there. And I'm not sure if anyone even found Duckworth funny. I always enjoyed the joke. And that's actually me under that other sleeping bag, being Mitchell's body double. And And that is the holiday special. Now on to the last one. Dun dun dun. The idea here was that this would be the last one and the best one. I think the main issue was, unlike the first one where the idea was, hey, we're just gonna make a video, and the next one's like, oh, cool, a Christmas special. This was like, so what are we gonna do for the next one? There wasn't really a great idea, so it actually was a mashup of all these different ideas we had for different videos, and we got this. Let's go. The Chief, played by our bud Max Hughes, and he is wearing a different hat. And that is Chris Rideout as the ninja named Kyle, who the Italian hilariously refers to as a different Japanese or Chinese word every time. And we actually cast Chris as a ninja here because he does know how to use nunchucks, but we don't really get to see it. And the original idea of the Chief dying here was because Max didn't want to come back for the next one, so he played with the idea of him dying off screen, in between installments, but he did come back, and again, he shot all this, edited it, and we killed him on screen. So this is Haley and Calvin, basically playing themselves. And the reason we did the garage again, partly because I don't think we had any other ideas, is because that's actually originally how I wanted the garage scene to be in the first one, is us already in the garage, but everyone said that was stupid, so we did it the different way the first time, and then we got to do it this way this time. And yeah. Oh, those two shots, the us in the garage and Calvin and Haley outside the garage and all this shit, were actually filmed two completely different places on two completely different days. Us in the garage was actually at my place, my parents' house, and my dog's head can be seen at the bottom frame if you guys want to check. And yeah, I guess the idea here is that the car chase takes us all around Fredericton, even though the day of the actual car chase was raining, and for all these other shots, it's nice out. And I think this was a bad idea, this car chase, how, it's music playing and there's just credits and, shots of Fredericton. I feel like everyone found this kind of boring. They wanted to watch these movies just to watch us try to make stupid jokes and just, like, goof off and stuff, so this one we tried to make actually, I guess, like, good, and I'm not sure it turned out that well. And here we go. I think there's a shot of, like, we filmed me running out of the car and stuff and all that crap, but we ended up with this. Us cornering Haley and Calvin. And he's reading the Miranda rights there, and we put this tarp over them. I don't know, a lot of these scenes just end up being whatever we had at our disposal at the time. And Duncan actually really wanted to punch Haley for that shot, but I said, no, violence against women's not going to be in this. That's probably was a good idea. I'm not sure if Erica Whitehead still watches these, but she probably wouldn't have liked it. And yeah, so we get Neil and Lackey back. I think part of the idea would be that they were characters from the holiday special that almost kind of make a large cameo in this one. We kind of went overboard here with the background stuff. We have like dinosaurs humping each other. We have like Duplo in the background. We got the bag and strips back, if any of you guys cared to notice. And Neil's holding Shrek 3D there. I don't know. We just went off the rails with the visual gags. And we got some exposition here talking with the Italian. And yes, I do love the camera zooming in on his face and him wearing glasses under his sunglasses. And again, I think we just thought of a bunch of goofy stuff for Neil to do. We continue with the joke that Neil has a crush on McLeod. And Denton hates Lackey. That's one of my favorite jokes too. Lackey, correcting him, saying that he's just one of his best friends. Neil gets very serious for this one. He's still holding the Duplo there. If you guys aren't aware, Duplo is just big ass Lego. And yeah, that's definitely the most uncanny valley, scene of I think all of them. And that is the music from the Fast and the Furious movie where Paul Walker dies. I thought it was pretty funny. I mean, as the music's playing, he's at the wrong tomb. And yeah, we just found this little gravestone. I feel bad because, that actually is somebody's gravestone, but clearly somebody didn't love them. Oh, I'm so sorry I said that, guys. It's just TG watching at this point anyway. And that is Max's real life girlfriend. This one with Haley and her, we actually had females in the video. I think before this, I was actually planning to make a joke that, like, no girls had ever been in Fredericton's Finest, saying something like we didn't even know what women were, but we didn't have to do that because we got this scene. We got the transition music back. This is actually filmed in Head Hall at the engineering building at UNB, which is where I go to. I'm fourth year engineering student actually, just in case you guys thought this is all I do. No, I'm gonna graduate pretty soon, and I actually had a lab report to do tonight that I didn't do because I decided to procrastinate and talk about this crap. And yeah, on the computer there, I'm searching a different thing almost every time. I'm searching up jackets, Jar Jar Banks, and Bill Cosby at the end. I always thought that was a pretty funny joke, but again, not sure if anyone else did. Getty, check the online sources. We reference the first one a lot in this one. It's almost like the Force Awakens of Fredericton's Finest. I'm not sure this is really necessary as fighting like this. And now we have the ninja going to assassinate Denton. I think Max and Chris filmed like 5 minutes of him running around outside, but we just got this. And this is not a video effect. We actually did use this. The Futurama theme as a ringtone there, and it was actually a pain in the ass to get timed right. And here's our introduction to the Italian. I think overall the shot turned out okay. I like kind of the 24 split down the middle phone conversation. We didn't get that in the holiday special, but I fought hard for it this time, so you guys can thank me. I think a lot of people like this joke. How the fuck does he sleep like that? Then I come out of the closet here. Haha. And I don't have clap on lights. We just have somebody turn them on. I don't really have much else to say about this scene. And the pin I throw at him is the pause before your post thing, if anybody remembers that. And I think I imagined, I don't even know what I was thinking when I was saying this shit here. I'm pretty tired, honestly. I think everyone's kind of tired. The idea here is that he does know I put a tracker on him, and he leads me to some random warehouse. This isn't supposed to be the Italian's hideout coming out. And yes, I do love The Other Guys. I think that's a very funny movie, and it does have 79 Rotten Tomatoes. I think the line, I'm like, wait, the Italian lives in a piece of shit? But we cut it out because I felt like there was just too much swearing. Because people do show their kids and stuff this. I think so, at least. Maybe somebody does. I think this is, I don't know. I think we took this one too seriously. I always like that shot, though. And yes, those are softies on the desk there because we were referencing ourselves again. I think we were originally supposed to have some elaborate backstory where Mitchell or like the Italian was some famous boxer with a famous left hook, but it didn't happen. I'm supposed to say bonjour no here, but the scene didn't really work out, so it got cut. And that's actually I think Chris is just playing himself there. That's kind of what he's like. And see, get it? The joke is McLeod's at the animal hospital, and that's why you have a kennel here. So there is a lot of stuff I like about this one, but sadly, I feel like it just didn't come together the same way the other ones did. Because, again, it's pretty disjointed. It took us like 2 months to film all this, and we just work around other people's schedules. But, we did finish it. It felt nice to finish it. I think some of the individual scenes I really like, but just really does not play out that well. And he says a windbreaker, but this is just kind of my corduroy jacket that I got while I was in first year university. And yes, that is Bo / Chris Becker in the back there, and he's just lost a lot of weight. And here is Alec Gregg, his fingers. I love you, Alec Gregg, but to quote Neil Anderson, you are the worst actor in Fredericton's finest. You're good at dying, though. You blew up well, and now here you get shot. It looks fairly convincing. Yeah, I guess the idea is here that his family, is explosive. Yeah, Chris Becker being sad there. I actually laughed so hard at Calvin acting like a retard here. Sorry I used that word. But we had to redub that line a bit. I can't remember what we said. But I think it turned out okay. So yeah, the idea is here. This is when we actually go to his house. And originally it was supposed to be like a tower where we fought like people at each floor, but we didn't really have the budget for that. And yes, this is a reference to how Chris Pickard lived with Haley and Calvin. And this scene where I'm pitching this idea, I think the idea was this was going to be the elevator where we're going up the tower, and the elevator would break down after I'm down, so then we have to fight our way to the top through each floor. But we had no way of actually filming in a big tower skyscraper thing, so we just did it in the car. And yes, the line that I say this is a way small and shitty on the inside is, commenting on how shitty this house is. And also just kind of commenting on the fact that in all of them, we always have an establishing shot that's nothing like the actual place we're filming at. And these are the Alex Richard clones. That is the same guy wearing masks and shit. Honestly, we just didn't have enough extras for goons, so we did this joke where they're all clones of, the Mayor Alan Richards. I have no idea other people's opinions of this. I know Max Hughes didn't like it because, it's not grounded in realism. I don't even know how I feel about it. I think it's kind of funny. Then see, I fight this Yeti here, and this is not our Yeti. He was just at this house that a lot of my friends lived in second year, and this house that we're filming at actually kind of has its own story. Basically, it got overrun with stoners, and by the time we had to film the scene, it was all the stoners had been chased out. No one was actually living here, so we just we filmed here. And it's basically like a movie set because we had this open house that nobody was using. And yes, the joke is this is Mayor Alan Richards, and he's back and he's growing a big beard and stuff. It's kind of just some more coincidence. And I always thought that was pretty funny at zooming in on each of us. I think Duncan had to go do something, so he wasn't present for that scene. Something. And here we have Riley Moore as Grizzly, this huge ass dude that, enough said. See, if you notice, me and Duncan had kind of like a fist bump thing that we kept doing in each chapter, but Haley and Calvin, they're trying to imitate it, but they, I think everyone got the joke, maybe not. Huh. I always thought of this like those eyeballs in Super Mario 64. He kind of runs around him and he like dies. I actually really like those shoes I had in this while we filmed this, those red ones. I always thought they were pretty cool. This video took Max like 2 months to edit. So it went up in November, but this was all filmed like in the summer. I think I actually had like I had a relationship begin and end in the time that Max took to edit this. But, not throwing any shade. It was overall turned out well. What we filmed is, kind of stupid, but the overall, came together in the editing room pretty well. So the joke is that we have the jacket as a tablecloth here, but we actually have another tablecloth under it. So I'm not sure if people really got the joke. So yeah, in this, rundown house, we actually could kick down doors and stuff because, again, nobody was using it. Huh. Duncan always wanted to have a sword fight, and we got one here. Like every video, he was saying, "When are we gonna do a sword fight?" And I said, "Soon, Duncan, soon." We did it here. This is the music from Waterworld, and this is an infamous scene because the idea was we were supposed to have the crossbow shoot, just like a video effect, and it didn't happen. So it makes the Italian look very incompetent because he's just pointing the crossbow, and then he still hasn't even loaded it yet. Oh, what an incompetent villain, am I right? And they filmed a bunch of shit for this sword fight. At one point, yeah, one of them's on the ground and they're like rolling around, but we cut most of it out because it was pretty dumb. And yeah, the whole me catching his hand thing is actually supposed to tie into his left hook, that he got me before, but now I've wised up. I don't know. I'm not sure if it even makes sense for Duncan to say a line here. I thought the punching sound effects turned out pretty well. I beat him. We do a little handshake here. Hey, yo, it's become dark out. That wasn't the original idea. It was just we filmed for so long in this house, and we got the Return of the Jedi, Fingers, the Chief, and Hayden Christensen. The idea is the line's not supposed to be, "Oh, this has never happened before." It's more like, "Oh, we weren't expecting this," but we did have a shooting script here, but we ended up diverging from that quite a bit. And this is the last scene ever shot. And the first scene ever shot was the car scene, and the last one, I get it, it's like poetry, kind of so that they rhyme. I don't know. I always thought it'd be funny to have a picture of this side by side with the first one, first in car scene, and be like, "Oh, look, Dirtbag changed the most out of anyone." And so, to make sure that this is the last one, we had the little text blurb here that says what everyone does. And no, I didn't put a lot of thought into each one. I just thought a veterinary assistant would be funny because it's kind of just like, I don't know, random. It's kind of silly. Why would he want to do that? And, yeah. And guys, this is the last one. I'm never going to make any more. And that is a promise. So I hope you enjoyed these and enjoyed my depressing commentary track. I did love the Lackey Neil stuff. It was probably my favorite part of this one, at least. Or just all of them. Especially filming with him. Neil would say the most outlandish stuff. We just didn't film one for the Italians, so we did this. Yeah. Again, I don't even know what to say for some of these. The sign says "well worked for love," if you can't tell. And funny, the chief is still dead. We have it fade out here. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna get written directed by Scott Ekins, thinking like, it's gonna be like some Quentin Tarantino shit, but my name is on it, so take from that what you will. And that is it. The whole thing's done. We have the credits here. We have a joke here that Calvin Haley are playing themselves. And I hope you guys enjoyed this commentary track. I don't know why the hell I did it. But yeah. So this is the last Fredericton's Finest video ever. Just rewatch it again and again if you can't get enough. Other than that, see ya.